In case you're wondering, it's been kind of going around some places. If I had to pick two, because the pattern of the past few years is it's been two Netflix films, I would pick Power of the Dog and Nightmare Alley.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
Nightmare Alley is not a Netflix movie. I said that extensively in my last video. So, that was silly of me.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Hello, welcome to Film Fireside. The Academy Award nominations, we're a week away from those. So one more predictions video. There's been some changes in the last little while, so without further ado, let's just do some things. This year, I'm not going to include the technical categories because I'm not too passionate about anything as of right now. Honestly, a lot of them are kind of just what Gold Derby says right now. I don't know. Maybe I'll do if I can maybe I'll sneak in a technicals category one. Let me know if you would like to see that. Put it in the comments. Just why not? Okay, let's go. Best Picture. So the bulk of this conversation is gonna be about Best Picture because this is where I've done a lot of finagling with. My journey to this decision was just fun. I just spent a lot of time studying, and honestly, I'm not even like that confident in it as of right now. We'll have to see what happens. Now that we have a lot of nominations from other awards circuits, such as WGAs, PGAs, Eddies, the DGAs, I have a bit more info to go off of. Now, the thing I've been struggling with is last year, I had said the phrase, if I had just gone what I wanted to be nominated, I would have been good. I would have nailed it. So the fallacy I don't want to fall into is like, well, if I just do that worked last year, let me just do it again this year, because that may not necessarily be true. So we have here my 10 predictions here, Best Picture, which since I've done this, I've learned, thank you for commenting and mentioning this, but it sounds like from here on out, Academy Awards doing 10 Best Picture nominations, which ironically enough, it would have been a little easier this year if they weren't. Those last two slots have been just driving me crazy of what to put in there. So I have it in order right now of likelihood of like what I think is the most likely to get nominated. And that is West Side Story, that's Dune, that's Licorice Pizza, that's King Richard, Coda, Belfast, Power of the Dog. Those seven, well actually, and even then I have Tragedy of Macbeth in here. I'm a little more confident in it now. I wasn't so confident in it before, and I'm still not the most confident in it, but it's theatrical release. It's been getting, I think it's one of those last minute contenders that's been making a name for itself. It seems that way anyway. And even on Gold Derby, it's moved its way up on Gold Derby too. So, I've kept it on there the whole time just because I've wanted it to. I was going to take it off, but as I've just kind of seen things happening, it seems like it might get nominated, which would be awesome. Totally deserves it. So I'm keeping it there. I'm feeling pretty good about that right now. It's the 9 and 10 slot where things are a little iffy. Now, before, I didn't have Don't Look Up on here because of my Netflix theory, but the huge flaw with that is that I was including Nightmare Alley as a Netflix film.
You fool!
However, one of the things that's progressed since then is Tick, Tick, Boom has been getting some acclaim as well, getting some awards, getting some love. Andrew Garfield, more specifically, has been getting some love for that film. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do right now. So now we have the same problem again, and I just don't think Netflix is at a point where they can get 3 films that they've distributed nominated for Best Picture. Especially when we're at a time where we're a little concerned about movie theaters. And I know people in the industry, they don't necessarily like streaming as of right now. It's not been a big thing for them. So does the Academy really want to support films and streaming? They have already, obviously. I mean, Irishman and Roma, I'm forgetting all the pictures that have been nominated for Best Picture, Marriage Story, Mank, all the things like that have been getting nominated from Netflix. There have been Netflix-produced films. So they're willing to show support, even in a year where there isn't a pandemic. So back to Irishman and Marriage Story. However, those had theatrical releases, and they were pretty decent theatrical releases from what I was looking up on the box office. What made me solidify now, and I think if I had to pick between Tick, Tick, Boom and Don't Look Up, more than Irishman, by the way, more than The Irishman, Don't Look Up has grossed more, did like a more, performed better at the box office than any Netflix film so far. And if we're going to play the follow the money game, you know, Netflix is going to want to push the film that made them the most money in the box office, you know what I mean? And I think that's a good strategy if they want to appeal to people who are like, well, is this movie getting people to go to the theaters? Don't Look Up got people to go to the theaters. And therefore, that's a good enough argument for me that I think Don't Look Up is going to get a Best Picture nomination. So I have it here on this list. However, the big rebuttal to that is, and why I have The Power of the Dog down at 7 now, despite the fact that it won at the Golden Globes. And quite frankly, it's in as a lock still, but I have it down at 7 because I could see just this crazy world where it does get snubbed, because that barely made anything at the box office. Barely anything. Out of these 3 films, Power of the Dog, Tick, Tick, Boom, and Don't Look Up, it made the lowest. Made the lowest amount. I don't have the numbers on me. I didn't memorize them, but I just remembered that it had the lowest. However, it's the festival film, darling, and festival films usually don't make much of the box office anyway. So, just in general, just generally speaking, so that may not apply in this situation. Therefore, Tick, Tick, Boom seems like the candidate that's gonna not make it. My rebuttal to that, though, and why Tick, Tick, Boom could get nominated, is the award circles are just obsessed with Lin-Manuel Miranda. Anything Lin-Manuel Miranda does, they want to slap an award on it. You know, they're obsessed. He's getting that with Encanto, though. You know, he's probably going to get some love from Encanto, I believe, having done the music for it and whatnot. And I know they definitely want to support him as a director, for sure. So I don't know. See, it's hard. It's gonna be crazy. That's why I have Don't Look Up as like the bottom one, because that could get replaced with Tick, Tick, Boom, maybe. I don't know. Now let's talk about Nightmare Alley. Now that I've learned that Nightmare Alley isn't a Netflix film, kind of the same thing as far as who distributed the studio. So this was actually a Searchlight Pictures, and if you don't know, Searchlight Pictures is a subsidiary of 20th Century Fox, and their main focus is indie films. And I just went searching through the past few years of nominations just for funsies, and Searchlight Pictures has been at every award, has had a Best Picture nominee in every awards year except for 2015 and 2016. And the thing about that, though, and I went back to like 2012, I think. I didn't go like that far back, but the thing about that, though, is in 2015 and 2016, if I recall, 20th Century Fox had both of those years, they had about 3 films that they had distributed in general. So, and I don't know if Searchlight Pictures specifically had a film that year that they were pushing, and maybe they didn't. I don't know. I haven't done enough research on that. However, that leads me to believe that it's pretty consistent that there's a 20th Century Fox film in the Best Picture category and a Searchlight Pictures feature in the Best category. So West Side Story is a 20th Century Fox Best Picture, and Nightmare Alley is the Searchlight Best Picture. And again, the Academy, I know the Academy doesn't go through this list and go, we need a Searchlight Pictures one in here, so we can't vote for anything else. We better vote for Nightmare Alley, so we include Searchlight Pictures. I know they're not doing that when they're voting. However, what I'm saying is that I'm sure these studios have enough experience to put them in front of the voters and say, hey, this one, you should vote for this one. They're good at doing that now, so that makes me think, despite what Gold Derby says, Nightmare Alley, well, and what a lot of people are saying, actually, I think Nightmare Alley is gonna sneak in a Best Picture nomination still. And here's the other thing too with the awards ceremony. We have to include a little bucket here of what could happen. Tick, Tick, Boom could easily snub either Tragedy of Macbeth, Nightmare Alley, or Don't Look Up. Again, there could be three Netflix films nominated. I know there's not like this rule that says no Netflix films, no more than 2 Netflix films nominated for Best Picture. It just hasn't been a pattern as of late, or it would be inconsistent with the recent pattern. So it seems less likely now for that reason. The other one that could be sneaking its way in here is Being the Ricardos. Being the Ricardos has got a lot of love. And Amazon's been making their name for getting films nominated, again, as a production distribution company. Sound of Metal totally snuck its way in at the last minute last year, which was awesome. I'm really glad that happened. I don't know. The thing about being the Ricardos, and this is both for it and an argument for it and an argument against it. Well, it's unique and different in an unconventional way. Like they have the real life people interviewing in the middle of the film. It's almost a documentary, but it's not, and that's very unique. That's very interesting. And I actually wonder if that will serve it or if it made it a little like, this is weird. Drive My Car, I could see that happening still. I'm less convinced that's going to happen. I think it's a little too late. Definitely for an international film. I don't know. It doesn't seem as likely at this point. It seemed likely for a while, but it's kind of, I don't know. I've lost the hype with Drive My Car. Totally could happen still, though. Totally could happen. Could totally see Drive My Car sneak in. But for now, what I'm predicting... and maybe I can sneak in a little last minute one if anything drastic happens that changes my mind. I got West Side Story, Dune, Licorice Pizza, King Richard, Coda, Belfast, Power of the Dog, Tragedy of Macbeth, Nightmare Alley, and Don't Look Up. So there we go. On to the next thing. Jane Campion, I still have as my number one here. And actually, quite frankly, I kind of feel like this is a lock at this point. I would be very surprised if anything else happened. Other than Jane Campion, Denis Villenueve, Paul Thomas Anderson, Steven Spielberg, and Kenneth Branagh getting their nominations. Guillermo del Toro, perhaps, but I don't think so at this point. That'd be really weird. One, just like off the wall, again, the awards ceremonies are just like anytime Lin-Manuel does something, they just lose their minds. Lin-Manuel could sneak in a director nomination. He did get a recognition for like first-time director for Tick, Tick, Boom. I actually wouldn't be surprised. I have him there as maybe like a buffer. Like if it's not others, it very well could be Lin-Manuel Miranda. So I don't know. We'll have to see. That would be really cool. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Best Actress category. I'm a little torn on this one too. There's just a lot of good contenders this year, and I know Gold Derby has Olivia Colman as like the top. Like she's definitely gonna get it. Rachel Zegler though. Like over Rachel Zegler? But again, who do I take out to put in Rachel Zegler? I have because how I have it right now, I have Lady Gaga, Jessica Chastain, Kristen Stewart, Nicole Kidman, Olivia Colman. Who do I replace with Rachel Zegler? Maybe Lady Gaga? I don't know. That's hard. I'm torn. I'm very torn on this category, and I guess I'm not as solid. Now that I'm saying this out loud, maybe I'm not as solid with this. If it were me choosing, and maybe I'm gonna follow my heart here, I would put Rachel Zegler in there. So Rachel Zegler, I'm saying her name wrong. I would put Rachel Zegler in there. I've seen West Side Story twice now, and oh my golly, it's so good. It is so good, and she specifically is fantastic. She specifically makes the film better. Just for funsies, I know this isn't maybe the smart thing to do, just because of likeliness. It may not happen, but I'm actually gonna take Lady Gaga out. I have right now Jessica Chastain, Kristen Stewart, Nicole Kidman, Olivia Colman, and Rachel Zegler. Now, I guess I could take Kristen Stewart out as well. The thing that would just break my heart. She didn't get a nomination for something. I can't remember which one, but she's been snubbed already. So I know people are a little nervous about her now, actually getting an Oscar. I would be so heartbroken if she didn't, because she really deserves it. She nails that part. She's so good in it. So I don't know. Hard to say. I know House of Gucci was a kind of a weird. It didn't really gel with a lot of people. Honestly, myself included, it wasn't my favorite film. But Lady Gaga specifically made the film very, very good. She really committed to this part. So it's hard to even replace Rachel Zegler with her. There's just some great people getting nominated this year. And I just feel like Rachel Zegler is one who's specifically deserving. She's already won a Golden Globe for it, which, again, it's in the comedy musical category, and that doesn't necessarily mean she's a lock for it. It's just interesting, and that would be really cool, and I kind of want it, so I'm going to say it. Maybe it won't happen, but I want it to happen, so I'm predicting it now. Let's say it happens. Best Actor category. This is another one that's a little interesting. Javier Bardem kind of came out of nowhere. I have everything else the same. Like, I don't see Will Smith, Denzel Washington. I don't see anyone else other than Will Smith, Denzel Washington, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Andrew Garfield at this point. No questions asked. I would be very surprised if it was any different. It's that fifth slot. I don't think Leo is going to get it at this point, unfortunately, which he was great in Don't Look Up and would totally be deserving. But I think, is he more deserving than Peter Dinklage or Javier Bardem, for that matter? I don't know. And unfortunately, I genuinely don't know because I haven't seen Cyrano yet. I don't know if a lot of people have seen Cyrano yet, which kind of makes me go, how likely are people going to nominate Peter Dinklage then? You know, he's already been nominated, but it was in the musical actor category for Golden Globes. So I have Javier Bardem in there as now. I kind of could see that happening. Again, Peter, and I'm being a little like risky with some of these other categories, I guess. I'm maybe kind of trying to predict the unexpected to happen because I think if I just listened to everyone else, I would just say Peter Dinklage in that fifth slot, no problem. But I'm gonna just mix it up because I have some. I'm ambitious. I want to give it a try. I want to see what happens. Supporting actress category. I'm in fact not being ambitious. I'm just going with what everyone else says because I don't see it going any other way at this point. Aunjanue Ellis, Kristen Dunst, Catriona Balfe, that's how you say her name, Ariana DeBose, and Ruth Negga for passing. I think it's a lock at this point. Which maybe Ruth Negga could be replaced with like Ann Dowd or something like that, which honestly would be awesome. Ann Dowd, I think, is getting snubbed this year because Mass was fantastic. It could happen. I don't know, but I don't really see any reason that it wouldn't, just because things have been pretty consistent across the board. So, yeah, there you go. Same thing here. I don't think I'm going to do much different other than what's kind of generally being reported for the best supporting actor category. I have Kodi-Smit McPhee as my top choice because he won the Golden Globes, and also I think he would. I think at this point I'd be surprised if he didn't win. You know, I could see Troy Kotsur sneaking in a win. That'd be really awesome. That would be so cool if he did. How I have it right now, I have Kodi-Smit McPhee, Troy Kotsur, Jared Leto, Jamie Dornan, and Ciaran Hinds. Mike Faced though, I don't know if that's how you say his name. Kid who played Riff in West Side Story though. I'm just saying, if it were me, I'm just saying. Okay, moving on. Adapted screenplay category. Boy, this one's tricky. This one's tricky because the WGAs had zero sway. Well, little bit. I think from in the adapted screenplay category, one WGA ended up getting an Oscar nomination last year. Last year was a weird year though. So this year, how much of a sway does it have? Because in the OG screenplay category, you basically just read them all off and it was correct. So how much do I do that this year with the adapted screenplay and the OG screenplay category? Because I could see, from what they have down, totally makes sense. But I have a few differences. I think of this category, not that it's not deserving of the adapted screenplay nomination at all. It's totally deserving of it. But does it need it necessarily in comparison to see, I say that out loud and I'm like, yeah, it kind of does. Oh, I'm going back and forth on this one a lot. This one's gonna be a hard one this year. It could go a bajillion ways in my mind. Do I just go with what the WGA say? Because the problem with that though is if I go with what the WGA say, I'd have to take off Power of the Dog on this list, and I don't want to do that either. I don't think that's. I'm pretty confident Power of the Dog is going to get a screenplay nomination. It should get a screenplay nomination. And I don't know, maybe I'm just being stubborn because I like this movie a lot. Tragedy of Macbeth's adapted screenplay. I think, here's the thing. The adaptation was a specific, without changing Shakespeare's words, this adaptation had the Coen brothers' specific interpretation of it. So then I guess, do I attribute that to the editing and the cinematography? I don't know. All right. So we're just going for it. I'm going to follow my gut on this one. I have it Coda, West Side Story, Power of the Dog, Tragedy of Macbeth, and Nightmare Alley. This is another one that's hard for me. I'm being stubborn on this one too. I'm keeping Mass on here, even though I probably shouldn't. I just want it so bad. I want it so bad. And it would be so cool. Other than that, though, Licorice Pizza, Don't Look Up, King Richard, and Being the Ricardos. I'm keeping that on here. At the expense, yes, even at the expense of Belfast. Another one, kind of like with Dune, where like it's not that it isn't deserving of it, but does the film need it necessarily, and is it the most deserving of it in comparison to these ones? I don't think so, but Belfast, I think I need to watch again. May have missed some things the first time, but yeah. Well, actually, nope, I'm leaving it this. This is good. I'm feeling good about this. Licorice Pizza, Don't Look Up, King Richard, Being the Ricardos, Mass. Mass very well could be replaced with Belfast, but we'll see. Okay, that's it. I'm done. That's my predictions so far. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are. I know I'm taking some risks with some of my predictions. I'm hoping for some things. Got a couple of Hail Marys in there, I guess. So let me know. What are your thoughts? What are your predictions? What's anything I haven't considered yet with one of my predictions? Change my mind about something, if you would. Thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Bye-bye.